Good morning, this is Germán Llanos. I'm the managing broker of 24-Hour Real Estate. Today I have Noé Fragoso from
NF Properties.
NF Properties. I'm so glad. I mean, we are a couple of entrepreneurs. He has his own real estate company here in Brook, Illinois. I have my real estate company with offices in Chicago and in Dallas. And today we want to talk to you about investments in real estate. I want you to know the story of Noé as an investor. I want him to tell us how he started. He used to have a job before,
Yeah.
and from there he developed this into a whole an amazing career. So anyway, Noé.
Thank you, Germán. Thank you for having me. Yeah, when I first got started in real estate, I guess it's a journey as a real estate investor per se. I was originally a truck driver, so I was working over the road. Then eventually I settled for a nice paying job hauling garbage out of landfills out of the waste management plants to the landfills. So I did that for several years, and I really got my real estate license in 2007, 2008. That's when the market crashed and everybody was like obviously doom and gloom about real estate. And I don't know why, I just got really curious about it. I decided to get my license during that time. I didn't really do anything with it. It was more of like a side hustle for me, more of a backup plan should my truck ever break down or should I have any issues with keeping my job, because obviously
So you were thinking you're investing at that point? Or,
no, I was thinking about investing in the future, and then that's why I wanted my license, so I
Right.
could say, oh, well, I'm not going to have to depend on a realtor who's going to be sleazy and sneaky to give me bad information.
Yeah.
I want to be in
Smart.
control. And that's why I got my license. But that essentially that led me to get into actively helping people buy and sell. And that happened in 2010. 11, 12 is when I went full time. That's also the same time I bought my first property, because I was renting, and I started noticing at that point, obviously, homes were selling for under 100,000 in our area.
2010. That's the
Yeah.
Hanover of the whole 2008 crisis. So
Yeah, so there was a lot of deals, and looking back now, I mean, I wish I had more money at that time so you could buy a lot of stuff. But in that moment, a home that was 100, 150, 200,000 was a big deal, because you didn't know what the market was going to do. All I saw was that when I was going to these closings, people's mortgages were less than what I was paying in rent. And then that's when I was like, I have to buy my first house.
Yeah.
And I bought an FHA loan. I bought a short sell, minimum down payment, was able to negotiate closing credits. And I closed on that first house, and I was paying less in mortgage than I was for a one-bedroom apartment. And that's what got me really, really more curious about getting really into the investing and not just helping people buy and sell on the daily, and becoming a real estate investor.
and just one thing, very curious, the environment that you entered into real estate, because it was an environment after a recession, right? An environment where people were desperate and fearful,
Yeah.
and it kind of reminds me maybe where we are right now, or
Yeah.
maybe where we're gonna be in 6-12 months.
Right. The way I see it is, I like to learn about real estate. I kind of get really into it, and one of the things that I picked up really early is that real estate is cyclical. It goes in cycles.
Yeah.
So to me, that sign of everybody getting out of the industry and being very fearful was a cycle that was kind of like the bottom, and eventually it would have to come up. How high it would come up, I don't know, but I saw, again, it just made sense. I feel like things were going to start to come up after 2020, 2011, 2012. Eventually, it was going to go up a little bit higher, that I saw opportunities to make a little bit of money investing in real estate, and that's why I did it.
That's very smart. And I think the lesson from that is that when everybody becomes fearful, is when maybe you should strike back.
Exactly.
And be confident that the future is going to be bright.
Yeah.
It's going to be different, but it's going to be bright, right?
Right, exactly.
I think that's, I'm talking to many clients right now, and many people could call me about investments, and they say, hey, are we at the bottom? And I remember back in the days of the last crisis, I remember when people, in 08, 09, 2010, 2011, people call you and say, hey, are we at the bottom? And then I used to joke with them. I used to tell them, yeah, you know what? It's going to wait a couple of more months, because August 15, of 2011 at 2 p.m. is gonna be the bottom. And then some people were like, "You're kidding, right?" Exactly, I'm kidding because it's impossible that you know
Can't tell.
when the markets are at the bottom, but you can just go deal by deal and analyze if each deal is profitable and makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never really know when it's the top, when it's the bottom. It's a risk in real estate in that aspect. But if you have information and you educate yourself, it could pay off to be a great investment. I mean, funny story with that first house that I purchased, that was 2012.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I sold the house in 2020, and the closing was the day of the government shutdown because of COVID. That was a whole nother what's gonna happen. So I'm selling a house and buying a bigger, more expensive house that at that point I didn't even know if my job was gonna be there the next day because everything was gonna be shut down. And again, it was very fearful, very scary. I could have told everybody involved that I didn't want to go through with the purchase. All my stuff was in a moving van. And at that point, I just kind of took a leap of faith and I said, you know what? Again, cyclical. Yes, COVID, very uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen, but eventually, let me write it out for a couple weeks, a couple months, however long this is going to take. Real estate will have to come back up. And I purchased that other new property for 3 times the amount of the last one. And now from that moment to this moment, that property probably doubled and tripled in value, which has allowed me to purchase even more apartments with that.
And when I tell clients, when I tell family, when I tell friends about building generational wealth, building the basis of a better future for your family, where you have your house paid off, when you have some passive income coming from certain properties, or maybe financing whatever the education of your children, I think real estate is a great tool, right?
It's an amazing tool. I think a lot of people that are making that are quote unquote considered millionaires, they're somehow related to real estate. And if you look at real estate as a whole, it gives you so many benefits to save yourself on taxes, to write-offs, to then just refinance and get money out, non-taxable event. And if you buy the right type of property, you are able to essentially live off of cash flow or refinance money, and then your earned income invested into real estate, and then use depreciation and all these different type of things that you could use to kind of save yourself money in the long run. And like you said, build generational wealth, because it's something that is there, it's long term. If barring something super crazy and catastrophic, they're not making any more land, they're not making too many more homes.
Yeah.
There's not inventory. We were just talking about how there's a lack of inventory. It's something that's going to be there for many generations to come.
Yeah, I mean, the city of Chicago has all these zoning and laws regulations, but it's very hard to build maybe within certain threshold of like 4 stories in many areas.
Yeah.
You're limited. The inventory is limited. And if you are, I tell my clients all the time, if you are able to have units that if you're able to have a 3-bedroom that you can rent for $1,500, or a 2-bedroom that you can rent for $1,200 or $1,300, you are at that Walmart point where people need housing. You're probably the one that they can afford, and you can still make money.
Yeah.
Help in the community. You're providing good housing as a good supplier of housing, and you're making money. So I think. But it's very important to contact someone experienced it, like Noé, someone experienced it like myself, that you have realtors that they just sell houses. We invest. We walk the talk. So we are there, So I just want to leave Noé's information for anybody that wants to buy houses. His office is here in Oak Brook, Illinois. My offices are in Chicago and in Dallas, in Texas. So if you need help investing, please, Noé.
Yeah, give us a call, either Germán in the city or in Dallas, or us over here in the Western Chicago land area. We're here to help in any way, shape, or form, buying, selling, or investing.
Thank you, Noé, for the collaboration, and looking forward to help a lot of people build generational wealth, especially in the Latino community.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.